All right, so I guess we can go live now. I believe you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you well.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you very much, Stephen, for joining us on this um, edition of December Tech Summit. So last year, December, I just had an idea to kind of come up
Okay.
with topics that could help young people who at crossroads in their career, such that they can actually come into tech. And last year, I think we did and starting a career in tech. That was what we did. So we looked at product marketing, product design, software engineering. I think those were and data analytics. Yes, data analytics. So, but this time around, we want to take it a bit higher to see um, what opportunities we could actually get when we come into tech. So, what are the opportunities like? I, for one, have always thought about tech as an enabler, something that a career path in tech helps you uh, tremendously in the sense that you can actually, if you pick any path in tech, if you stay on that path for let's say 5 years, when you compare that with someone who goes on a traditional route of more traditional career opportunities, you discover that
No problem.
you tend to grow faster, earn more pay,
Yeah,
and the exposure is quite
yeah,
different like that. So
yeah.
a lot of people usually wonder how can they tap into these opportunities. So because we're in a third world country like Nigeria, so am I just bound to Nigeria alone? Are the opportunities just in Nigeria? So where else can I get these opportunities? And that's why we have Stephen Odepo with us here tonight. Stephen has been a software engineer now for several years and is presently working, living and working in Europe. I mean, all because of tech, all because of tech, and I believe that his experience can actually help a lot of other people who are looking out for opportunities for themselves. So, Mr. Steven, so how has been the journey for you so far in tech? And what, I mean, you heard what I said. You heard what I said about the career paths and how that
Okay.
um, a lot of people can actually leverage on these opportunities for themselves to, I mean, grow and do good for themselves. So, what can you say? How has been the journey for you in tech so far?
Yeah, like I said, tech is great. Um, Tech is unlike the traditional career path because tech you have the chance of growing much faster, and you also have the opportunity to have access to jobs that are much wider than your current location. So, for example, somebody who lives in Benin or just, for example, in Nigeria has the opportunity to get a job that is somewhere maybe in Beijing or in Australia, right? And it's not very likely that you would have the opportunity if you were, say, into catering, for example, or event management. Those opportunities do not have they don't have that much ease of travel, right? So that's one of the advantages of tech. So before I go further, I'd like to keep that open as possible. I do not want it to be a monologue. Uh, anyone has questions can always signify, and then I'll be willing to interact with you and make it a dialogue so that you can make what you're talking about here. So today, generally, we'll be talking about tackling global opportunities in technology. And then this topic is very important, especially at this time because we are at a very, very critical moment in the world today. And 2025 will be very different from 2024. And to be different in my prediction is to be different have as a software engineer today will have to change because a lot of the things that a software engineer used to be able to do before, AI, I mean, AI is not yet there, but AI is getting there with those things, which means that your skills will have to change. What is required of you will have to change somewhat, right? And so I believe that this conversation is very important at this time because it kind of gives you the opportunity to prepare yourself for what 2025 is going to come. So I'd like to start with my first area of discussion about identifying global career paths, right? And like I started with, we can see what the global trend is like. For example, there's a huge conversation region. I don't know if you use Twitter often, but I checked Twitter today. But there's a huge conversation region in the US, interested to think and skilled immigration, right? Where the American citizens who are pre-existing American citizens are struggling to compete with high-skilled immigrants coming from different countries, especially India, and taking the jobs they would normally would have been expected to take before. But because of the way the tech market is a global market, right? It's targeted at getting in the best people into the system. And so the employers do not really care where you're from. What they're looking for is, do you know how to do this thing? They don't care if you're white or black or Asian. Do you know how to do this thing? And they'll pay you as much as they can ask for, depending on your skill level, as long as you have it. So it is important that we prepare ourselves, we project, we look at what's happening in the market, and unfortunately, it's really, really hard to predict for the next 5-10 years because we do not know yet what AI will do. So we're in a position where it's hard to predict. But what you have to do is don't sit still, right? Whatever you think you know now, consolidate it on it. However, open yourself to new knowledge. Try as much as possible to gain new skills because by February, March next year, things will change really. And you have to put yourself in the best position you can to ensure that you can take advantage. So first thing, be observant. Ensure that you're in the know. I use Twitter a lot, and Twitter, the main reason why I use Twitter is because you hear things very close to Twitter before you hear it anywhere else. Things happen and they are 3 months old on Twitter before it comes out into the real world. And so you want to be there to have a feel of where you want to listen to people like Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, for example, talks every day. He posts sometimes 20 tweets a day. People like him are market movers, right? They are trendsetters. You want to hear what he has to say about anything, any topic. Because when Elon Musk says something, Google likely follows. Sundar Pichai is also the CEO of Google. He's also talking every day. Throughout the day, 12 days of Christmas, when they released lots of AI tools in December, right? And these things came out first from Twitter, at least as far as I know, came out first on Twitter. And before any news out there will take it and then becomes mainstream conversation, I mean, we're looking at 4 weeks to a few months before these things become mainstream. And by that time, you have the first movers, because it's very, very important to have the first mover advantage. Think about it. Going into tech in January 2024 versus going to tech in January 2004. That's a huge 20 years gap. And if you have the first mover advantage of moving to tech as early as 2004, I mean, no one knows how much better you will be off by today, right? So as much as possible, keep your ears to the ground. Use social media responsibly. Very, very important. Consume the right type of content and follow the right type of people so that you are in a position where you know what's happening or what could happen in the next coming years so that you can position yourself appropriately. Really, really important, especially with AI. As much as possible, try to see what role AI will play in the new world and how you can put yourself in the best position to take advantage of that. And so that's another thing. Job search strategies. Well, when it comes to job search strategies, which is the next time we talk about, the best tools to use, I'll always advocate, is as much as possible, ensure that you have a very good LinkedIn profile. already showing interest, that's showing that I really want this person, right? They look at your profile, they like what you come into your DM and they say, hey, we have this position open, are you interested? These days, I reject roles based on the amount. So when you come to my DM, I'm like, hey, thank you for reaching out. And then you tell me what the role is about, and I'm like, okay, so how much are you willing to offer for this role? And then he tells me, I'm like, I'm sorry, I will not take it based off of your offer amount, right? So one of the most important tools to getting a good job internationally, because it's really, really important that you have a really, really good profile on LinkedIn, because these people go to LinkedIn first. In my experience, I mean, that's not the one side statement. But in my experience, they go to LinkedIn first before looking elsewhere, because you kind of have an assurance that the person you're having a conversation with on LinkedIn is a real person. Because it's spam, right? So you can almost filter much better. And LinkedIn has a lot of tools that help recruiters filter accounts and check authenticity of the person's profile and the content of that profile, right? If you say you have worked for a certain company before, LinkedIn has the option to include the email where you worked at that company before, and you can see legitimate company email that ties to that recruiter or that former employer. LinkedIn can validate and say, yes, this person truly works here, right? And so these are some of the things that LinkedIn uses to measure authenticity, which is one of the reasons why recruiters like these things. Because another one to